Back once again here with head women's volleyball coach Korey Schroeder. Coach, end of the season. Finished strong with that sweep. Overall, I know from the beginning of the season you'd mentioned your goal obviously was to win the conference and make a berth into the tournament. Although didn't end up that way. Still a lot of great things to be building on. What goals did you meet this year that you're really happy about moving forward?
Yeah, I think you look at the first three quarters of the season and really happy with the way that we played. A couple matches in there where we looked like been a little bit better, specifically against San Diego and Pepperdine. But we pushed San Diego there and did that without Melina in that match. That was fantastic. Beat Oregon State at their place was great. Felt like we had a pretty solid preseason. The only match there where it felt like probably should have had that one or could have was the Grand Canyon, but Grand Canyon ended up having a pretty solid year themselves. So all in all, happy with things. Would like to have finished a little bit stronger, but thought that we grew a lot. Things offensively went probably about as we had planned, where we thought we were going to be a pretty balanced offense, and it ended up being that way. Probably got a little bit more production out of Lucy than we had expected. We knew that she was gonna get set a lot, but to be as efficient as what she was pretty awesome. And then from the pins, I think we got about what we thought we would as far as balance distribution wise. And Cam did a really nice job in the other middle position as well. So thought our young players developed and grew a lot. You look at Liv Ward, got a ton better throughout the season, ends up running a 5-1 there for us at the end, did a great job. Maddie Joswick, freshman as a DS, look at her final numbers and really respectable of what she did as a true freshman. Did a really good job. Told her like there's times where servers, they were going after her like that was the team serving target, and anytime that Maddie was the serving target, I was really happy. I'm like, she's gonna dime this and do a great job. So from our young players, a lot of great development. So really excited for them going forward for us.
Yeah, finished fifth in WCC, 11-7 in conference, 17-11 overall. Just kind of, what is the overall grade you give this season for volleyball for the Cougs?
Yeah, I think our goal was to become the best version of ourselves that we possibly could be. Maybe look back and say we fell just a little bit short of that, but definitely not a disappointment at all. I think we grew a lot, and I think the development that we had, I would put as an A of where we were when we started to where we finished. I think is what I was really excited about. There's a couple matches in there that you want to win, always do, but I think the development and the growth that our players and our team made. I'd give ourselves an A on that. That's a credit to our players and our coaching staff for investing in them and seeing what we needed to work on and continuing to get better.
Yeah. And then senior night you guys fell in 4 sets to Portland, and then after that 2 losses and then a win. Just how would you say after senior night that game kind of impacted the rest of the season, having to go on the road and play 3 straight away matches?
Yeah, I don't know if the senior night itself impacted things a whole lot. Certainly tough to go on the road those last 3 matches, all down in San Francisco against teams that want to come in and kick our butt. A couple of them competed really well. But credit to them, where St. Mary's was when we played them, they were hot. They were playing with a lot of fire. They improved a lot this season and they got us. And then Santa Clara was on a great run there at the end, had a phenomenal season. And so, I wish we had competed a little bit better there, but really happy that we turned it around against San Francisco. A little bit different look for us in that last match than we had probably put together all season, being in the 5-1. Eliana ends up being on the outside again. She hadn't been there consistently for over 2 months. Other people get opportunities. Kylie Wong steps in and does a great job at DS. So really excited about the contributions that we got there at the end. So we did a great job of responding, controlling what we could control, and finish it strong.
And then just kind of overall throughout the season, are there any specific moments from some of the games or some of the matches some practices that especially stood out to you as highlights that you can build on for next season?
Yeah, there's a lot in there. I mean, the match at Oregon State was fantastic. I thought that was the best complete match that we had played all season, and we were really resilient in that. We were down in the first 2 sets of that match and found ways to fight, and ended up winning that second set, and that set us up for the rest of that match. So really happy with what we did there, against a team that ends up finishing 3rd in the conference. Our match down at San Diego, we competed really well without Melina on a really tough travel schedule. We ended up getting stuck in Seattle for an extra night and are on 3 different flights to get down there, and we didn't get to practice together going into that match, and that's at noon on Saturday, and then we came out and we competed well together. So I'm really excited about that one as well. And we competed really hard early in the season too. Opening weekend, Utah and Dayton. We lose both of those, but that's 2 very, very good teams. Utah ends up making the tournament. Dayton goes undefeated in regular season in their conference. So 2 really good opponents that we played close. And I think that kind of set the tempo for the season going forward. We knew who we could compete with. Didn't do it consistently enough, but we knew that we could play with tournament teams and that we're capable of doing that ourselves, which I think put some real belief into our team that we could go win the WCC and be in the tournament. So hard to pick out specific plays from it. I will say that the way we ended the first set at San Francisco with Kylie gets stuck in the front row and ends up with her first career kill to win that set was pretty special. She got a block touch before that. She solo block up against the outside, gets a block touch. Ellie gets the dig, and Kylie turns around, finds the ball, and pushes it over for the kill and wins the sets. And we were struggling early in that first game, so that was a great way to finish that one. And the team really rallied behind her in that moment as well.
And then second season, complete season as head coach, just how would you assess how you've done over the past 2 seasons so far?
I think year 2, having the entire staff back too was huge. Having more returners than we did in year 1. Still didn't have a ton of returners, but more than we did in year 1. I think there's just a lot more stability and structure going into this year. And so, year 1, you're figuring each other out and having a lot of conversations on just how the whole operation works. Especially me as the first year as a head coach. But year 2, I felt like we had a lot more structure there, and we're able to be able to give to the players a little bit more, and they knew what to expect of us and what things look like day to day. So really happy with how we progressed from year 1 to year 2. I felt like we just had a lot more confidence in ourselves as a whole and with each other. And excited for year 3 going forward.
And then last question for me. So going into off season, what's your kind of overall goal for next season, especially considering that you're gonna have, I think 5 seniors leave, and then obviously there's the whole transfer portal and then kind of that whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, the transfer portal is what it is. I'm not a huge fan, and I'm sure there's a lot of coaches that aren't, but it's the reality of where we are. You have to be recruiting in it, or you're going to fall behind. So we'll have to do that. And when we're in the transfer portal, we're going to try to go get the best players that we possibly can. And so we know that had a couple of outsides graduate, middle graduate, a DS that contributed for us at the end. That we need to go out and fill some spots, and some of that's going to happen through the transfer portal. So I think at this point, just kind of embrace it, know that we have to do it, and in the amount of time that you have to go recruit these people, trying to make sure that we're bringing in high character people that are coming here for the right reasons. That can see what Washington State is and want to build on what this program has achieved over the last 30 years. And is excited for the staff and the group of people here. So a lot to build on from this past year. This spring we'll be spending a lot of time in the weight room. I think that's a place that we can continue to excel. That's one that doesn't require a whole lot of skill. Go work hard. We have an incredible strength coach with Evelyn Grimm. And so excited for her to get with them when they get back in January and push them. So we've already talked, like, that's a place that we need to continue to level up. The volleyball will take care of itself, but we need to be able to move faster, jump higher, and that tends to make you a little bit better volleyball player.
WCC All Conference awards came out yesterday. Lucy was first team. Melina Christodoulou and Tins Munar Gomez were both honorable mention, and then of course Eliana Tia on the freshman team. We talked a little bit about the turnover, but of those four, only one is graduating, three are set to return. Talk about just, there is still a young core with this team, more than you've had in the last couple of years. So what does it mean being able to bring them back and keep the culture moving forward?
Yeah, I think consistency is I don't know if it's undervalued or people just don't recognize it, and it's hard with the transfer portal of keeping a core group of people together. But I look at like what Portland did this year. That was the entire starting lineup, and they improved a ton from last year to this year. The 2023 team here, those players have been playing together for the most part for several years, and it all culminated with an incredible Sweet 16 run in 23. So now being able to keep people together is a really big deal, and we're going to have a huge core back. We're really excited about that freshman sophomore group. No junior group right now. It's a strange little quirk there where nobody in that class, but really excited about the freshmen and sophomores that we have and be able to develop them together for a few years. It just takes away, you spend a couple months just trying to figure out how to play next to somebody that's new. And here we get to, not just figure that out this spring, but elevate from where we were this fall, and that sets you up for the next fall. But yeah, really excited about the group that made all conference, very deserving individuals. I thought Liv Ward possibly could have made all freshman team as well. Did an incredible job with her contributions. Eliana bouncing from the outside to the right side, back to the outside, kind of started that San Francisco game as a DS. Very deserving. Lucy is a no-brainer, and probably deserves some All-American recognition in there as well for finishing the season fifth in the country in hitting percentage and the best in program history, which is pretty incredible when you look at what Meg and Sarah Silvernail did here. And then Melina coming in and having the season that she did was fantastic. Tino's to me, she's the best passing libero in the conference. There's some liberos that are ahead of her defensively. But we talk about the game is about serve and pass. She's an incredible server, one of the best scorers in the conference, was the best passer in the conference. To me, probably deserved a little bit higher recognition than honorable mention, but really proud of what she did here in year one.
Last one, just kind of piggybacking off that same question, is as things you turn the page into year three with you at the helm and your staff, what do you maybe want fans and supporters to know about your program and your goals moving forward to year three?
Yeah, hopefully people know this already, but we have a great group of human beings, and obviously, we need to go out and win volleyball matches. That's all of our goals. If we don't do that, we don't have jobs. If the players don't do that, there's going to be lost opportunities. So we all recognize that we need to go win, and fans come and watch teams when they win. But I think, for those that haven't interacted with our players and our coaching staff, we value character and being high character individuals, bringing in strong character people, and then developing them within the community and getting them involved. And so, hopefully most of our fans have felt that impact in some way. Hopefully they've been able to make some sort of connection with a player. But I think it's really important, if you're watching through TV screen, you might not get to see that and how they interact with each other and the coaching staff. But we have an awesome group of humans, and that's going to continue to be our focus. We feel that it's easier to coach those people. They're more driven. They're going to make more growth in their careers. They're going to make better relationships with their teammates, which means in the hardest moments, they're going to be there for each other to win games when it's 23-23. So hopefully people know that already, but they don't. We have great people in our program.